Welcome back to another episode of the Arc Switch Survival Guide. Today's episode will be much more interesting. You guys are probably tired of building and cooking guides, so we are going to take on some of the most dangerous animals on the island on our way to the swamp, which is one of the most dangerous areas of the island. So we are going to head deep into the swamps, which I always tell you to stay away from at all costs. But you're about to find out why. And I've got my raft fortress all loaded up with fertilizer for ammo, and we are ready for war. But at the end of this episode, we're actually going to get stranded in the swamp. But we're not going to give up. We will just plow right on through and make the best of it. And if you watch till the end of the episode, I'm actually going to give you a little bonus tip on how to get rare mushrooms and rare flowers if you happen to be brave enough to journey into the swamp. So be sure to watch the rest of this episode. It'll be pretty fun and pretty helpful. So, we have everything set up at my home base, and I'm all ready to set out on an expedition. Fed all my dinos, locked up all the windows at my base, got all the supplies that I needed loaded up onto my raft fortress, and I also fixed whatever glitch was keeping my plant species X turrets from shooting anything. Yeah, they were totally not working, but now, as you can see by all the dead stuff in the water, they are working again, and they're all loaded up with fertilizer, so they've got plenty of ammo. Now, if you end up with the same issue where somehow your Plant X turrets just stop shooting, some of the things that I did, I actually replanted all of the turrets, but they were still not shooting. I left all of their crop plots in place, but just destroyed the plants, planted them again, and they were still not shooting anything. So I put them to sleep, changed their targeting distance, changed their name, took out all of the fertilizer, except instead of making it empty of fertilizer, I put one new fertilizer in the plot, removed all the others, and then put them all back. And for some reason, after doing all of those things, when I woke up my Plant X turrets, they started shooting again. I also moved the fortress. That might have helped. But if your plant turrets stop working, try all of those things, and one of them may work. And I would say replant them as your last resort, because it takes a really long time for them to grow back, and you're pretty vulnerable until they do. So one nice thing about this raft fortress is I'm picking up all of the stone and wood that I'm going to need. I've got a pretty good supply already, but I can actually get lots of boulders and just harvest them by pushing my boat right into them, and I don't even have to step outside to harvest the boulders. Now, I've already got a lot of stone, and my supplies are pretty well filled up, but I am going to be building a base in the redwoods so that I can harvest plant sap. And we'll be getting a bunch of sap from the redwood trees, which is useful in making kibble that we need to tame an Argent Avis. And I do plan to tame an Argent Avis pretty soon. But, so I'm basically just removing all the boulders that are actually blocking me, but later I'll bring my Doedicurus down here, put him on the front of the boat, and he'll just smash through every boulder and get thousands of stone. So next time I need some stone, I'll just bring him on down here. It'll be real quick and easy, and I've got a guide on this Switch Survival Guide series that shows you how to do that trick using a raft. And, anything you need to know how to do, just go up in that series and it will have a title with every episode that will describe what I teach you in that episode, and there's a trick for just about everything that I've done to get to this point in the game, including how to build the entire raft fortress. Now, as I travel down this river, I am just shooting everything down with my Plant X turrets, and I'm pretty safe jumping out into the water here because the turrets are actually covering this whole area. So I know that if I get attacked by anything like those drones that tried to attack me a second ago, the turrets will just shoot him right down. So it's kind of nice having a battleship covering you at all times. And I'm getting kind of overweight, so I'll just drop everything right into this storage bin. And that's one of the reasons I designed the layout of this base the way that I did, because it's really easy to get stuff into the courtyard and just drop things off your dino and plow them right into the storage box there. So I'm kind of avoiding as many boulders as I can because I don't want to spend this whole episode just picking up rocks. But I think I've got enough now that I should be able to build the whole base that I want to build. And I'll have an outpost out in the redwoods when I'm finished with that. So we should be in good shape there. Now we've got some little raptors I'm not really worried about, but in the distance there, I just spotted a therizinosaur, which is pretty nasty, and an alpha raptor, which is very nasty. So I am going to go ahead and harvest some of this meat real quick, because they're still pretty far down the beach. And I think I'm just going to make a break for it. I'm not going to fight that alpha raptor right now, even though I have killed an alpha T-Rex and an alpha megalodon at the same time using my plant species X turrets on this fortress. The problem with it is they ran out of ammo by the time I actually killed the stinking things. So it's much better to run away from an alpha raptor if I can actually manage to just get away from the thing. And I could use some more fish meat because I've got my ichthyornis or seagull in the raft with me. So I'm just going to grab some food for him while we're here. And that should be good. Okay, looks like that raptor is coming this direction pretty fast. Oh boy, I sure hope he does not see me. So I am going to make a beeline out of this base and, let's see. Yeah, okay, so he's still pretty far up the coast. Should not be a problem. Now, you've got to be... Whoa, there's a Spino down there, too. Oh, boy, okay. We are just locked in right now because the raptor should be running to our left, and he should be just about to hit the base. Now, you've got to make sure that you're not moving when a dangerous dino actually gets to the walls of your base, because they can actually glitch through the wall and onto your raft. But the good thing about these Plant X turrets is they actually slow stuff down. So this Spino, oh gosh, he's almost got his head through the door. Oh man, that was close. My Tapehara is just on the other side of that wall, and I was worried he was going to glitch through the wall and hit the thing. But hopefully he's being slowed down like crazy here. And okay, I think we lost him. Good. If you get far enough away from something like that Spino, he will actually stop chasing you, which is a darn good thing because we are now into the swamp and I cannot rush through here. There are too many trees and actually too many dinos in the water that can glitch into the raft. Oh, the therizinosaur is still here. Okay, looks like he's down, and we've got a Baryonyx. That's super fun. Plant should be able to take care of him. Now, this guy could be a problem. I forget what they're called, but it's basically like a hyena, and they throw dirt or rocks, or maybe it's poo. I don't know. But they can actually hit you from the air. So I'm hoping these turrets will take care of him before he's too big of a problem. And it looks like he is aggroed onto the turrets. Now, I don't want to let him hit the turrets because he could actually damage them. Oh gosh, there's a Titan boa. See, this is why I tell you guys to stay out of the swamp. I mean, we've been in here, like, I literally just poked my head into the swamp right there. And we've already been attacked by like 5 or 6 really dangerous dinos. So, there we go. I think we've killed off most of the dangerous stuff, and I'm just going to harvest all of this. Got quite a bit of prime meat here, too, which is nice. So this is actually one of the twin male Tapeharas. Oh gosh, leeches. Yeah, definitely watch out for those leeches. Another reason you want to be real careful in the swamp is because there are leeches in the water which will stick to you and kill you and get you swamp fever and all kinds of fun stuff. But let's see here. I always forget that the prime meat goes in the inventory of my dino when I harvest it like that. So let's just pull that all into the refrigerator because we are going to need a big stack of prime meat because I'm going to try to tame a really high level Argent Avis, and those things are no joke. They will mess you up. Imagine like a Carnotaur on wings. That's basically an Argent Avis. So let's see here. I think it's finally peaceful here in the swamp. So now, one really nice thing about this guy, oh my gosh, I think the raptor killed the Spinosaur. He is not around. Wow, okay. So, yeah, an alpha raptor can kill a Spinosaur, no problem. And I think they both chased me, and then I got far enough away that they lost interest in me and started fighting each other, which worked out great for me. Okay, so it's really nice when you're in the swamp to have a flyer because you can get a bird's eye view and figure out if you're going the completely wrong way, which I was just about to do. So I need to head that direction, and I'm going to try to park this guy in the very center of my raft just to make sure I don't end up with any problems. Man, there is so much stuff out here. This is crazy. Now, half the dinos in the swamp you can't even see. I just had to try chopping down those cypress knees. And what is this? That's fun. I bet it's a piranha. It looks like it's stuck to the front, whatever it is. Yep, that's a piranha. Okay, cool. So this is the thing that happens when you have a fish on your boat and you just drag it. It's super fun. So I think we've got everything dead and harvested in the first, like, square foot of swamp that we've encountered. Yeah, that's how crazy this is. I've got to say, though, I love the Spanish moss on these trees. They did a really good job with these cypress trees. I actually used to live in a house that had a cypress swamp in the backyard. So I live in Florida. There's lots of swamps around here. But they did a real good job capturing the essence of a swamp. Although ours are a little bit less dangerous. Not too many, crazy dinos coming out here. So another nice thing about the swamp is it's full of trees, and if you load a beaver onto a raft and just stick it on the front of the raft, it will just chop down every tree you sail past, and you can get thousands of wood in no trouble at all. And what I'm doing here is I'm not setting foot outside of this base. This is a nice, safe place, and I am not about to get in the water. But as long as I keep going through here, just about pushed my flyer off the back, and that could be really bad. So let me get this guy back up here. I'm going to reposition him, and that's why I'm being real careful to make sure I chop down any trees that are about to push him off the side. So once again, I'm just surveying the land here. There's a little island that I need to make sure I can get around. The swamp is so hard to navigate because, like, most rivers are just nice and deep, but the swamp has a lot of patches of land. So I've got to be really careful with my raft that I don't get it stuck on the shallow land, because you can actually get your raft stuck to where it won't move, and it is incredibly hard to get it back out. So let me chop down a couple trees here, and I've got some rare mushrooms coming out of these trees. Now, the trees on the swamp have mushrooms stuck to them, and when you chop them down with a hatchet, you'll just get rare mushrooms every now and then, which is a kind of nice little bonus. But once again, this is like the only really safe way to go through the swamp is to have yourself a nice little raft fortress that'll protect you, because everything in here will kill you. It's nuts. And I highly recommend, if you need rare flowers and rare mushrooms, to just go loot some beaver dams, because it's a lot safer and it's a lot easier to see the beavers coming. You can deal with those pretty easily. Now, I have a whole episode on how to loot beaver dams, and I'll drop a link in the description for a bunch of helpful episodes that I'm talking about here. But I've actually got a whole guide on how to make this raft fortress, which I'll drop a link there too. So let me chop down a couple more trees. I'm just clearing the path, but in the process, I'm getting enough wood and stone to make all the stuff that I'm going to need for my next little outpost, which will be a sap outpost. So I think, just about set that fire there. Alright, seem to have enough depth to the water that I can navigate just a little bit, but of course I am shooting down a parasaur, just what I wanted. So parasaurs are pretty tough. They're not as dangerous as a lot of stuff because their attack isn't as strong, but they've got a ton of health, and if you tick them off, they'll just chase you. Oh, that's not good. That was a really cool parasaur. It was like purple and stuff. Yeah, I got two friends that are really mad. That's not good. Okay, see if I can get them to chase me, and hopefully they will leave my raft alone. Okay, now we got a Baryonyx and some giant frogs, which are actually crazy dangerous too. Oh boy, now there's 3 parasaurs. Fun. Well, at least that Baryonyx is fighting that parasaur, so they'll take each other down a little bit. That'll make my life a little easier. And it looks like that parasaur that's fighting the Baryonyx is getting shot by my Plant X turrets, which is great. So let me give them a little space here. Okay, looks like that one's lost interest. That one's died. Perfect. Okay, now that one's getting shot. I just didn't want to take on 3 Paracers at the same time because they could probably reach my Plant X turrets. My gosh, there are so many of these things. Wow. Okay. There's another one. Okay, so we've got 3 Paracers down, and what about that red one? Oh, he's still coming. Why would he not be? Alright. I've got to rest because my Tapehara is just about out of stamina. Now, I brought one of my newly hatched twin male Tapeharas, and the reason for that is I want to get this guy some good levels. Okay, that is the last Paracer. So we just took down a whole herd of Paracers, which is super fun. But man, that's a lot of prime meat. Oh my gosh, I am going to have an entire refrigerator full of this stuff. And let's see here. Okay, everything seems to be safe. I think we're done killing everything. So we've cleared out a nice little patch of safe swamp, but as you can see, we've only made it like a block forward before we had another just massive battle with all these dinos. I don't even want to know what this would be like if I was just on foot right now. So once again, stay out of the swamp. Do not hang out here too long. So I've got all this prime meat, and I'm just going to type in the search box, PRIM, and that will let me transfer all the prime meat on my Tapehara, which is apparently 51 prime meat. So I'm going to do the same thing over here, transfer all of that to the fridge. And that should be enough to tame a couple Argentavis. That's just crazy. Now, I'm going to make some jerky, and I've actually got a whole bunch of that I brought with me, and I'll be making some kibble to tame the Argentavis too. But, you know, that should, that'll be in another couple episodes here. So, let's see if I can keep on going here and just run through that. Great. Yeah, man, every time I take a couple steps forward, there's a tree to chop down and some more stuff to shoot down. And I really want to stop my base from moving when it starts shooting stuff, because if a dino starts attacking me and I move my base, if the base is actually in motion when the dino gets up to the walls, he could potentially glitch through the walls and end up inside my base, which I really don't want to deal with. Now, I've got a beehive in here. It was really hard to tame this beehive, and I've got some armor around it. I built like a little beehive fish tank kind of thing, but you know, I still don't want anything in my house. That's no good. So it looks like we shot down a pig. That's fine, and I need to move this around a little bit to get this out. Alright, got another couple trees to chop down here. This is getting really narrow and hard to navigate with this raft. Rafts are no good for maneuverability. If I wanted to do this right, I would have built this on a motorboat, but motorboats take gasoline to run, and they're kind of a pain, and they're a higher level thing, so I wanted to just have this base built on a regular raft when I made it. So I think we're just shooting at piranhas at this point. Yep, there we go, okay. So nothing real dangerous here. And I'm going to keep moving on, and my end goal is to eventually get up to the redwood forest. Oh man, I think this is all going to spoil. There was just not enough room in my refrigerator for it, so I'm trying to cook up the rest as fast as I can, because prime meat only lasts like 2 minutes. But if you can cook it, it'll last like 45, and then if you turn it into jerky, it lasts for days. So that's kind of how you can preserve that stuff. But if I've got it in the refrigerator, it'll last quite a while, which will hopefully be long enough to get an Argentavis down here. Now, Argents are harder to find in the southern island, but I'm going to head up to the redwood forest, and the mountain on top of the redwoods apparently has quite a bit of Argents that spawn up there. Pretty high levels, hopefully. So I'm going to move this kibble down here because that takes forever to spawn, and just made some room in my refrigerator to put as much of this stuff as I possibly could. But, you know, it's okay if we lose some prime meat. The reason I brought my seagull here is because I can use him to get prime meat from dodos and lystrosaurs and just really weak stuff. So I've got my vegetable garden on top of this raft, and it makes it really easy for me to just grab a snack anytime I'm hungry, and 5 vegetables will fill my hunger meter all the way back. So yeah, alright, I think we're safe to keep moving again. This is a very slow process moving through this swamp. It's kind of crazy. But we're pretty close to the end of the swamp and just about up to the redwood forest. And once I get up to there, I'm going to be really close to the redwoods. I can just park my base right under a redwood tree and start making trips up and down to bring supplies up to my new outpost I'm going to build. And, oh, we killed a sarco too. That's a crocodile there. Oh, I seem to be stuck. That is not good. And we got a dead Baryonyx down here. That's kind of horrifying, right? Okay, so let me see if I can poke my head out safely. Yep, looks good. That was the guy that was fighting the Perilous. I totally forgot about him. I guess he just kind of rolled down the cliff. They do that sometimes. These dinos just get crazy when they're dead. They just kind of go limp and turn into jello and flop around all over the place. Well, I don't think I am ever at any point going to run out of meat, even though I've been breeding tapeharas like crazy. But this will give you a good idea as far as why... Uh-oh, that's not good. Yeah, whew, okay. Meganuras are giant dragonflies, and they are attracted to dead dinos. So if you have a dead dino, all of the dragonflies nearby will start flocking to it, and they'll swarm the dead body and start harvesting it. But they will also attack you if they get attracted to it and start coming close to you. So be careful of those dragonflies. They can be a real pain. But it's actually kind of good for me because they drop chitin, and anything that my Plant X turrets kill will lure the Meganuras, and then those things will get shot down by the turrets. And I get lots of chitin too, which is also very helpful. So basically this Plant Species X turret stuff just makes it really easy to survive out here in the swamp, even though it is the swamp. So I'm going to cook up some more prime meat and see if I can get my base to move, because it seems to be stuck, and that is really not good. Now, if you're going in really shallow areas like the swamp or any really shallow beaches, there is a chance that your raft can glitch a little bit, and you can end up stuck inside the ground, and that basically is incredibly hard to get out of. Your raft may be stuck there forever. I may now have a castle in the swamp that I didn't want there. It's not a horrible thing to have, but it would basically mean I would lose my raft fortress as far as being able to take it anywhere, which would be pretty sad. I mean, sure, I could build a motorboat, but I'd really like to get this thing out. So I guess we'll make the best of it and we'll live in a swamp castle for a little while, but hopefully it will eventually dislodge itself. I'm going to keep trying to hop in and move it over and over again because it's probably just stuck on some weird little glitchy thing in the ground. But a lot of times as you're loading and unloading sections of the map and, when you log in and out, sometimes that raft fortress has just the tiniest bits of movement, and that can be just enough to get it dislodged. I've had a raft get stuck a couple of times, and it's annoying as anything, but I have managed to get it out. But the good news is we're close enough to the redwood forest that I can still do the next episode where I will show you how to harvest tree sap from the redwood trees, and we're going to build a sap tap outpost which will allow us to get unlimited tree sap for the rest of the game. And I'll show you a cool technique where you can save about 600 cementing paste that most people use when they're making a sap tap base. Now, if we cut down any of these cypress trees in the swamp, we'll get some rare mushrooms, and I also want to clear this area so I can see when dinos are attacking me, and oh, no, that's not good. I double tapped the harvesting button too fast and tossed my shoulder mounted seagull off of my shoulder, and I do not want to lose him here. Whew, okay, caught him. So these cattails right here, if you harvest a bunch of them, you will sometimes get rare flowers from them, but you can also extremely rarely get Plant Species X seeds. Now, it may be like 1 in 500 chance, something like that, but if you bring a harvesting dinosaur to a bunch of cattails, like a stegosaur or a therizinosaur or triceratops even, you can harvest a whole bunch at the same time and actually get a decent amount of Plant X seeds that way. So a good strategy for getting Plant X seeds is to just take an iguanodon up near the swamp, grab a bunch of those cattails, and then run out of there as fast as you can. So I've got a whole episode on how to get Plant Species X seeds, just like 30 or 40 of them at a time. but I'll put a link in the description for that too. But this is sometimes a safer way if you can find some cattails that are on the edge of the swamp without too much dangerous stuff around. So I hope this episode was helpful. If it was, please like this video and subscribe to our channel, and be sure to ring that bell for notifications, because the next episode will be really helpful and I'll show you some tricks that I've never seen anyone else do. So we'll see you next time. Thanks so much for watching this video from the Ark Survival Guide. If you enjoyed it or found it helpful, please like this video and subscribe to our channel so we can bring you more great guides like this one. Ark is an amazing game, but there is so much to learn before you can really enjoy it. We are dedicated to bringing you high-quality guides, tutorials, and Let's Play videos that are fun, helpful, clean, and suitable for the entire family. There's a tutorial in this series for everything we have done so far in this video. Check out these playlists for more episodes from this series and other guides to help you enjoy your journey on Ark.